What's going on, everyone? It's time for another horror film review. Today we're going to talk about, one of the classic 80s horror films, and it's done by one of the biggest names in the filmmaking business. Well, today we're going to talk about Poltergeist, and it was done by Steven Spielberg and Tobe Hooper. So I've reviewed Poltergeist 2, Poltergeist 3, and Poltergeist the 2015 remake, so might as well finish off the series and finish off this franchise, and then I'd have them all done. So, yeah. Well, if you're not sure what Poltergeist is, well, there's a family that lives in a suburban home, just with like three kids, and then they're just living their normal lives, and then all of a sudden, this weird, their young daughter starts talking to the TV, and then they don't know what's going on, and then these weird paranormal things start happening in the house. Poltergeist activity, obviously, and eventually their youngest daughter gets sucked into their dimension, and the parents have to find a way. They turn to like scientists and paranormal experts and stuff to try to help uh, get their daughter back, which is a tug of war basically on how it goes. And then eventually they also learn that, well, the dad's a designer. He designed it like the houses and stuff, but the company he works for decided to build it on an Indian burial ground and not remove the bodies. So that's why that's the loose thing of why the haunting's happening. I think I might have spoiled some of it, but oh well. But yeah. And you just go on this wild ride with this family. I love this movie. I've had this movie for so long, and this movie is such a fun time. It's not the R-rated Tobe Hooper I'm used to seeing. Like, it's not like Life Force. It's a spectacle, but it's not like Life Force. But it's definitely, obviously, not as dark and gritty as like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Eaten Alive or anything like that. This is this is like one of the few films he did that is PG-13, and and it's cool to see Steven Spielberg wrote this and produced it, but I think he was too busy to direct it, so they got Tobe Hooper in to do it, and so it was very cool. Steven Spielberg is one of my all-time favorite filmmakers, so um every time his name's on something, I check it out. So yeah, he's in like my top five film directors and makers and producers and all that. So yeah, Tobe Hooper is probably in my top 10. I wouldn't say he's in my top five, but my top five is more like David Lynch, David Cronenberg, and all that crazy stuff. But but with the film, overall, the story is okay. Like, it's not really well crafted or explained. Like, the paranormal stuff just randomly starts happening, and then as the film progresses, you get to learn more and more about it. It's very like well done for an 80s movie and stuff. And Industrial Light and Magic did all the special effects. So obviously all the special effects are top notch at the time. And very well done. Some of them might seem a little cheesy and hokey today. Like there's this weird like demon god thing coming through the door, and it looks like it was made of toilet paper or something. But yeah, it looks a little cheesy, but overall special effects are really good and top notch, and really quite the spectacle and stuff. There's some really weird scenes, like a tree that's taking the kids and stuff. I think that's taken out of like the Indian folklore and stuff, though. And but yeah, there is some weird stuff like that, but you do get to see a lot of cool paranormal type of stuff. Yeah, so that's always good. But back to the story. The story is not very well thought out, and most of the characters, they are really genuine and seem realistic enough for the story, and that, and like, you feel for the family and stuff throughout the movie, and which is good. Just like the only flaw is that the film might seem a little cheesy nowadays to some people, because like, yeah, some of the effects don't end up, but still looks better than all those 90s, early 2000s crappy CG movies. But so I still really enjoyed this film. It's not super scary or anything. This is actually probably a good introductory type of film for someone who hasn't really watched very many horror films. This one will probably be a good one, especially for like paranormal stuff. This one will probably be a good one for them. But overall, I really enjoyed this film. I always have. So I'm going to give the Poltergeist a 4.5 out of 5. Only because some of it is a little cheesy nowadays, but definitely a classic and must watch. It's one of those few movies Steven Spielberg actually entered into like the horror realm and made something crazy, helped make something crazy in that. But obviously, he got the help from someone who knows what they're doing in the horror genre, Toby Hooper, to help him. So, yeah, overall, it's a really good film, and you should definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. I'll link the trailer down below, or if I can find the whole film somewhere, you can watch it for free. I'll link that down below. Make sure you check out my Instagram. That's always linked down below. That's where I post video clips of films I'm going to review in the future. All my stories have the film title hashtag and subgenre film and the hashtags so you're aware of it. Also down below is my Letterbox and Derek P reviews. That's where I post my first star rating after watching the films. And also my Twitter's down there too. At reviews_Derek. So follow me on those platforms. Stay with this channel. Like this video, share some more people aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. And if you have any films or film franchises in any genre that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below. I'll try to manage to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And if they're on any streaming platform, doesn't matter. So yeah, make sure you subscribe. Hopefully we'll find something weird, obscure, and odd that you probably never thought of checking out together. And also so you hear my opinions on popular films that have come out, classic films, somewhat like this, and reviews on other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell because, well, I'm going to continue on reviewing some classic type horror films because, well, we're just finishing another franchise, so might as well start one that I don't think I've actually reviewed any of them for yet, and that's the Nightmare on Elm Street films. So we're going to talk about Nightmare on Elm Street in the next review, so make sure you tune in for that. And just getting all the big ones out these days. So yeah, tune in for that, and yeah, watch out for all those haunted houses out there that we're all living in. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.